Welcome to the...
Sorry.
Welcome to the Panic Button, everyone. I'm Nina.
I'm Jessie.
So today there was a lady and she got shot by ICE. Let's break down the story, shall we?
Are we going to see the video? Because I haven't seen video.
Yeah, I'm going to play the video after I read this thing.
Okay, I've only ever read the stuff, so go for it.
Okay, so on Wednesday, an Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent fired into an SUV near 34th Street and Portland Avenue, killing 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good. During a confrontation, Minneapolis police chief warned a day before Wednesday that the growing federal presence could lead to violence, as federal enforcement operations in the Twin Cities sparked clashes and protesters threw snowballs near Portland Ave.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you.
Sure.
I know you're reading through it. But how is it ICE's fault that
They're enforcing the law?
That them enforcing the law, how is it their fault that people have a problem with it? Shouldn't they have law enforcement holding these people back?
They should. That's why Tim Walz held a press conference saying that the National Guard was on standby because there's going to be worse protests from this because there's a lot of crazy people in Minneapolis.
Well, the thing is, we do have the right to protest, but you don't have the right to interfere. That's why they have, what is it?
Or be violent. I mean, you're throwing stuff at their car.
Obstructing arrest, resisting arrest, things like that.
Obstruction of justice?
Obstruction of justice, resisting arrest, those are two things that are illegal.
Yeah, you can't do that.
So, hypothetically, you can protest all you want.
Yeah.
But stopping them is illegal.
Yes. It's also
Dangerous.
illegal to try and run them over.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Which is dangerous also.
Yeah. Can't be throwing bricks at them or snowballs even because, well, number one, you don't know what's in the snowball.
I think
it could be a snowball of ice. That shit's hard. If it hits you in the head, you have a concussion.
I genuinely think, and correct me if I'm wrong, you can even look it up real quick. I'm pretty sure the Boston Massacre was started by them throwing snowballs at police officers. And then they shot them. I'm pretty sure that was the Boston Massacre.
Yeah, I believe you're correct. Good's mother said her daughter was one of the kindest people I've ever known and not involved in confrontations. Good lived in the Twin Cities with her partner and had a son aged 4 or 5. Hennepin County attorney said her office is pushing for a local investigation and stated, "We will use every available lever to ensure a local, transparent investigation takes place." The shooting has further inflamed tensions between local and federal officials over ICE's operations. A U.S. Border Patrol commander arrived in Minneapolis and federal law enforcement left Portland Avenue, while authorities have not yet released a full account.
I'm so sorry to be that person, but the best person you could find was her mom.
Not the wife?
Not like a friend or like anyone who's like slightly an official of something. The best person you could ask was her mom. Don't you think most people's moms would say he's the nicest person ever? You raised them. If they weren't,
Right.
That's on you.
Yeah, you know that they're going to say something.
I'm not trying
the person
to.
was crazy.
I'm not trying to say that this woman wasn't nice, because I don't know this woman. I haven't seen the video, and I'll always change my opinion as required. But the mom, I'm sorry, it's just like, of course the mom's gonna be like, oh, I raised the best kid.
Fox News alert, a woman was killed today during an ICE operation in Minneapolis. An ICE vehicle was stuck in the snow, and while trying to push it out, activists began harassing and blocking their path, boxing them onto the street. A woman parked her car, preventing the ICE agents from leaving, and was ordered to exit the vehicle multiple times. Officers attempted to open her door after she wouldn't comply. That's when she backed up her car and gunned it straight at an ICE agent. The agent opened fire on the driver to defend himself.
What the Dude, what the
Kristi Noem, who was in Minneapolis today overseeing operations, is describing it as an act of domestic terrorism.
She had been stalking and impeding their work all throughout the day. ICE agents repeatedly ordered her to get out of the car and to stop obstructing law enforcement, but she refused to obey their commands. She then proceeded to weaponize her vehicle, and she attempted to run a law enforcement officer over. This appears as an attempt to kill or to cause bodily harm to agents, an act of domestic terrorism.
Multiple eyewitnesses have confirmed that this activist was screaming, yelling, disrupting ICE operations all day. One witness says she was the main car leading the protest.
You know if she was the target?
I don't know if she was a target. They clearly wanted her out of there because she was the main car leading the protest, is my understanding. I talked to another guy who was driving behind her, but she was very successful in blocking traffic. She was doing what she was set out to do, and so they wanted to get her the hell out of there. Yeah.
So it looked like she was impeding ICE vehicles.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay.
That was her goal.
The woman who lost her life was a self-proclaimed poet from Colorado with pronouns in her bio, a 37-year-old white woman named Renee Good. The Daily Mail says she leaves behind a lesbian partner and a child from a previous marriage. She was a disruptor, though she considered herself a legal observer, but there's no evidence she had a law degree. Different angles show different things. You can see here the officer was actually hit by the car, and the first round he fired went straight through the front windshield as the car barreled directly at him. When you slow it down, watch the tires. She floors it so hard the tires spin out, and the vehicle heads directly towards the agent, and then bears right later. Christy Noem says this agent wasn't new. He was well-trained, and he conducted himself by the book. When an agent believes there's a serious threat to his bodily harm or an imminent threat to his life, he's authorized to use deadly force. And this specific officer had been dragged by a car driven by a protester earlier this year in Minneapolis. Cars are a 2,000-pound weapon and have been used repeatedly against ICE agents.
People are being trained and told how to use their vehicles to impede law enforcement operations and then to run over anybody who gets in their way while they go out there and try to disrupt peace and public safety. And Americans deserve better.
This was a split-second decision. He thought he was going to get run over by the car. The woman had been harassing him all day, blocking him, obstructing, not complying. He felt his life was in danger. He'd been throttled by a car before in the same city. Tragic to see someone die. But what would you do? Click here.
I would have shot her too.
Yeah.
For being honest.
You have two options. It's fight or
or her.
flight. Well, yeah, fight or flight too. You either run or you take action.
Yep, and if you've already been in an instance like that prior, I'm not surprised that there was a reaction like that.
And I mean, those are the games that you're playing. I mean, it's unfortunate that you lost your life. I mean, it would have been better if you would have been able to serve time and then learn your lesson.
She wouldn't have learned from her lesson at all.
Obviously, you don't want anyone to die.
Right.
So it's unfortunate that you lost your life over something that is just a political disagreement.
You're talking to her like she's alive still.
However, people voted to have these ICE raids.
Yeah, many American people,
That's why Donald Trump-
ourselves,
Yeah.
want illegals removed from the country.
Well, and that's why I say, unfortunately, if you feel the same way as she did, just remember that a majority of Americans disagree with you. And that, unfortunately, if you're one of these protesters, you could end up with the same fate. Make sure you protest respectfully and safely if you really need to, but don't get in and block people. It's not a good move ever. And remember that over 50% of the people around you voted for this.
Well, maybe not around you, but
In general,
neighborhood, probably, yeah.
in your country, 50% of the people in your country voted for this, at least.
If you see like a cop doing like an investigation or has a confrontation with someone he's about to arrest, maybe don't get in the middle of it because you know that you might get hurt.
If you see someone pulled over, do you stop and be like, no?
Some people do. It's really crazy out there.
It's weird.
Like What would make her think that she was safe and could get away with what she was doing unless she had done this many times before?
Well, and then I guess the alternative is, was it that she felt safe, or did she feel like she also had to be white savior?
Probably both.
And to that extent, how dangerous is this racial ideology that we're putting and pumping into people on the left brain? And not us, but you know what I'm saying, right? How toxic is that mentality if she felt like she had to do this for the disadvantaged in her perspective?
Well, see,
leaving behind a child.
Their perspective and their thought processes are very skewed and warped because when they think ICE is going to get rid of illegals, they're thinking, oh, they're going to arrest these poor and innocent people and throw them out of the country.
And put them in camps.
Right. Well, they're not innocent because they did come here illegally, right?
They committed a crime to get
So
here.
they committed a crime and then they stayed here for a long time. I don't care if they paid into the system and all this stuff, took on a false identity.
You shouldn't be here.
You came here illegally and you did it for a really long time. Well, there are people out there who have to do it
And wait.
the right way and wait.
And even longer time.
So you've been getting away with it for a really long time. It's like, well, that's not right.
Good for you. Now go back home and reapply.
Yeah. And most of the time, I would say, is a lot of these people aren't good people. Some are good people that did a bad thing, but then there are other people who are bad people. And we can't tell the difference between the good ones and the bad ones. So instead of leaving them all here because we don't know which ones are good and bad, got to take them all. It's not like you can sit down and have a conversation to figure out if they're a bad person or a good person, unless they have a record. But a lot of people have done bad things and never gotten a record or arrested.
I feel bad for the child.
Yeah, they still have a crazy parent.
No, I mean, I feel bad for the child. At the end of the
Losing
day,
a parent, you're saying.
yes, and I feel bad that someone's life was lost essentially for nothing.
For nothing. It's the narcissism and the naivety.
But in the same degree, I'm not upset because this person clearly wanted something that was dangerous for the country and they were willing to put their life on the line for it. And I guess, she had balls. I don't know what else to say. I wouldn't do what she did, but she had more balls than a lot of people today.
Well, there's a difference between balls and losing your marbles.
I don't know.
She's crazy. She didn't have balls.
You can have balls as a crazy person. That doesn't mean that's you don't make good decisions.
I don't
you just
think,
make like
I don't
stupid
think crazy people have balls. It doesn't make any sense.
You don't think that they have
Balls
balls?
means being brave. If you do something outlandish because you're crazy, that's not being brave. That's just being crazy.
Yeah, but if someone says that was ballsy, that means it was kind of dangerous, no?
Ballsy, yeah, but not having balls like you have guts, like you're
Well,
brave. There's a big difference
She
there.
has ballsiness compared to others.
Well, yeah, because she's crazy. It's easy for her to have ballsiness if you're crazy.
I'm just shocked. I mean, it's sad because it's a life lost in an unfortunate manner.
But it shows you that kind of level of narcissism. You think that you have to be the savior and you are an important person in this cause, so much so that you're willing to put your life in danger, also because you think that nothing bad's going to happen to you. And you're also not even thinking about the child that you could possibly leave behind because you're so confident that nothing bad is going to happen to you and you have to do this. Well, more important than your kid.
Critical race theory teaches them that they have to do this kind of thing because they're bad because they were born with different pigments.
Well, that's got to be some sort of crazy belief system.
Yes, but I feel like it pushes a lot of people to do this kind of thing.
Like a religion,
I'm not sure that she felt that way, but I feel like it pushes a lot of people to do this kind of thing. Don't you agree?
It's a cult-like mentality.
Yeah.
You will do crazy things that most people don't see as normal because you believe in it so hard. And a lot of people have the same mentality, so much so it's a cult with no leader.
That's just concerning, honestly.
Maybe the leader is, I don't know, mainstream media, The View. I don't know,
Zoran
Reddit.
Monogamy.
Yeah.
Blue skies.
Blue sky. Yeah. I mean, they're willing to put their lives in danger for a cause that doesn't make any sense logically. And for what? Like, I bet you she didn't know she was going to get shot.
No, and that's the thing is these people don't think about consequences that often either. And so they think they can do a lot of things without suffering. And then when something tragic happens, they clutch their pearls, but How did you not expect this to happen?
Well, if you've done a lot of crazy stuff and you've always gotten away with it and nothing bad has ever happened, you gain this false sense of security.
But they say they're so scared of this Trump administration, and then they're out there, and then they're doing this kind of thing.
That's part of the crazy brain. That's like the brain rotted, been on Reddit too long kind of crazy brain thinking. Like you could be it's like being upset that Trump kidnapped that dictator, and then before that throwing a no kings protest because you don't want a dictator. Like, do you like dictators or not? Or you just don't like Trump? Either way, the cognitive dissonance with a lot of their beliefs, the things that they protest against, like they don't make any sense alongside each other. Like queers for Palestine. I bet they were queers for Palestine. You know, the same people who hate you and say, we don't want you, go away. Because I've seen videos of a woman in a hijab yelling at some gay dude because he was like for her. And she's like, no, screw you. I'm not for you. You know, that's the kind of cognitive dissonance they have. It's crazy brain. You're not your beliefs aren't lining up with each other.
Yeah, it's just like I said. It's not like I'm over here like, oh, I'm gonna cry. But it is unfortunate that something that most people voted for, even if it's a slight majority, is gonna cause you to lose your life because you just want to stop it so bad. You're not gonna be able to stop the law. You can't outrun cops. Boop.
Sorry, it was just an urge.
Can't outrun the cops. If you can, they catch you, and then you get more time.
Eventually, they'll catch you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And if they can't catch you, they will shoot at you.
If you're trying to harm them, yeah.
If you're trying to harm them or escape them when you've done something wrong.
They can't shoot you if you're running away from them. Well, they're not supposed to.
Not if they just saw you murder someone. I think they can shoot you then.
No, I don't even think they can then. They need to apprehend you. They can't shoot you.
They should,
unless you're like
threatening them.
A physical threat to someone else or them. Then they could shoot you.
My point still stands. If they're in danger, then they should have a right to defend themselves.
Well, yeah. I mean, do you want to go home to your family, or do you want the person who's ramming the car into you
to get home to their family to ram their car into
Who's
more people?
More important, me or the bad guy?
Well, it's also self-preservation.
Yeah, you have to be able to make very smart decisions in a very short amount of time. And a lot of people can't do that. But federal officers are trained to be able to think quickly. And sometimes they fail. But in this instance, I think this was just
it was
a reaction.
The lesser of two evils.
Yeah. And it was a reaction based on past experience and self-preservation. Like you said.
I heard someone say aim for the legs. You can't do that when...
How do you do that in a car? How do you do that in a car? You can't see their legs.
Exactly.
You're just trying to stop the threat. For cops, it's always about stopping the threat. Making sure, like, that's why they usually unload their clips.
Yeah.
This has taken suicidal empathy to a different level. You know what I mean? It went from the left has so much empathy that they end up getting hurt for being pro something, like letting guys out of prison who shouldn't be out of prison. Then they end up harming you. That's empathy. But now it's gone to you're literally getting yourself killed for your empathy. There's got to be some sort of mental disorder. These people shouldn't be out in public because they're not only a harm to other people, but they're a harm to themselves. They're getting themselves offed.
Unfortunately.
But why? My question.
I strongly believe it's critical race theory, like I've been trying to say.
But it can't just be.
It's that, plus you want the attention. You want the attention of being white savior.
Okay, so they said that she was queer, a lesbian. Okay, technically bisexual because she was married and had a kid with a man before. So she's technically, we'll just call her queer, whatever. So
she must have been queer to be involved in this that way.
But do you notice that there are more LGBTQ people on the far left than on the moderate left to the middle? Certainly on the Republican side.
Because they feel they have to be.
Why? Is it because there are so many of us out there that are on that side that you feel like you have to believe in that stuff?
I think it's because there's been such a strong association with queerness and leftism. And
you feel like you have to be on that side?
And conservatives have been so historically strongly against anything to do with gay. I think that's why most people feel they have to be on the left when they're any bit gay. I'll say any bit gay because I don't like queer.
Yeah, I hate that word too.
Yeah, so any bit gay. That covers every bit of it, right? Anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, bis plus some trans people.
And we all know that her wife is also radical like her. I mean, if you're in a lesbian relationship, you're either both crazy or
maybe her wife
you're
just
broken up.
actually didn't care and like let her go to the rally. You don't. I mean, that's the thing is you can't.
Why would you allow your wife to go do
some-
something dangerous if you know that she's kind of off her head?
Some people have no personalities, babe. You've dealt with that.
And she's just a passive wife.
Like someone who's like, yeah, go do it. You want me to watch him? Sure. A lot of people are like that.
Yeah, but
But we don't know. And that's the thing.
Lesbian?
It's all speculation.
this is my speculation, is her wife's probably freaking crazy too. Maybe not as crazy of an activist, but an activist nonetheless.
Okay.
I mean, from what I heard, she was on the scene crying. Why are you on the scene? Do you live in the neighborhood, or were you with her, or what?
Maybe
You
she was
part
in
of
the car?
protest? I don't think anyone else was in the car. I didn't hear anything about that.
Maybe she was helping block cars.
Probably, but
I don't know the answer, and that's why I say it's all speculation.
logically, it doesn't make sense to block ICE's vehicles from doing what they're going to do. You know, if you live in the real world, they're going to get by eventually. You're just inhibiting them from doing their job for minutes, maybe. And what does it actually do? Nothing.
In their heads, it lets a couple of them slip out.
So you're like, you have purpose.
They're like, this is their underground railroad.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm not trying to be dramatic. I'm not trying to like.
No, but you're right.
No, this is their underground railroad.
This is what they believe it
They
is.
are-
Because
they
there's
are-
a giant difference between
This
the two.
is them in pitch black dark. Listen, we live in an area. You don't. Maybe I don't know. I live in an area where my house literally had like tunnel systems. Part of
Yeah.
the Underground Railroad. We live pretty close to Canada, so I know about that kind of thing. The difference is these people snuck people into their houses, kept them hidden, and moved them at night. You guys are going out in the middle of the day and doing some wild stuff. If you really, really, really wanted to get these people somewhere safe, you would do something like that, right? You would take them, you would keep them in your house, hide them away,
Yeah.
and then you'd help them go somewhere you know is safe.
Right.
But instead, you're going out in the middle of the day and blocking traffic,
It's like fake activism.
and you think this is your Underground Railroad.
Yeah, they're not actually hands-on helping.
Yes. I
They're
know.
just, they're like faking it. Like, look what I'm doing.
Look what I can do. I'm a part of history. I'm a part of history.
I'm doing something that's going to make a change.
Do you think
It's not very ballsy at all.
Do you think the people doing the Underground Railroad were thinking to themselves, I'm going to be a part of history? No.
No.
I think a lot of those people's names and stories have been lost to time and history, and they were just good Samaritans. And if you really do believe in this, I'm not trying to knock you or say don't believe in your cause. I don't agree with it. But like if you really believe in it, do better. Do
Yeah.
better. It's not like we have history to follow. Do better.
The thing is if you believe in a cause strongly, like if I believed in a cause very strongly, the first thing I want to do is figure out how I can do something that's actually going to make a bigger difference.
Do better.
You know?
Yeah, like
Right.
I was saying.
So I wouldn't just go to a protest because that's not actually changing anything. You're pretty much just being like, la-ti-da, look at me, I'm doing something when you're not doing something. It's all like, it's performative activism. It's not actually meaningful at all.
No, if you really cared, maybe you'd be pushing for legislation to help these people get their cards or whatever they need to stay in the country. Or you'd be trying really hard online to talk with good ones and explain why they deserve to be here. Like, there's a lot of things you could do to make your point. You could do a lot of things to make your point, but you don't do those things. You go out and you block traffic and you stop people from doing their jobs, and you don't go to actual like meetings or town halls, or you go online. You just sit there and you cause a problem, and then people are surprised when something bad happens. And are you really surprised that something bad happened? I'm not. I'm saddened, but not surprised.
It's like when I said performative activism, it's like the activists that throw the orange paint on the Picasso, or
Just stop oil.
the dumb dude or dumb group of people who super glue their hands to the freaking pavement and
That was
stop
also
traffic.
just stop oil.
or they're making a river a different color. They're dyeing it a different color.
Was that also just Stop Oil?
I think that was the Palestine one. That was Greta Thunberg. Yeah.
Stop it.
They do a lot of this crazy stuff, but is that making a change? Did it move the needle even a micromillimeter of a millimeter? No, it didn't. They don't want to do the work because people who do the work don't get their faces in newspapers. They want to be the person who's got the face in the newspaper but does little work as possible because how dare they expend energy on something that they truly believe in?
Well, I mean, she did expend energy, so much energy she lost her life.
Yeah, but she didn't do anything really for the cause.
No,
she
not
just
really.
performed it.
But I mean, like I said, do better, think harder, try better. If you really believe in this, do something that actually matters. Go put money where your mouth is. Go adopt some Venezuelans or whatever makes you happy. But like going out and stopping people from doing their jobs, especially when they're law enforcement, is the dumbest idea I've ever heard, because I've never tried to stop a cop from giving me a ticket. That seems dumb.
That seems dumb.
I never stopped a cop in a store and said, I'm stealing this, because that seems dumb.
That would be dumb.
I've never looked at a cop and been like, is that your car? And then slashed his tires. That'd be dumb.
That'd be dumb.
Because stopping a cop, showing a cop I'm doing something wrong, or literally impeding the cop from doing his job are all actions that would lead me to jail time, if not a few minutes in the car or more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you expect these officers not to give you the same consequences?
I was just thinking that there's a lot of people on the left side of things that are extremists, activists, quite a few of them. And I believe that what it comes down to is they feel that they need to have a purpose because they have no purpose. They have no meaning. They don't even know who they are. So they attach themselves to these activist
Social identities,
groups and
yeah.
social identities and protests in order to feel like they have purpose and they're important, because deep down I think they're just sad, hollow individuals who deep down aren't good people, you know? Maybe portions of them are like good people, but I don't think truly that these kind of people are good people. I don't think that they're reliable. I don't think that they mean what they say. I think it's all a performance because they don't know who the frick they are. And instead of trying to figure that out, they just get affirmed everywhere. And it just...
That sounds gross.
It inflates their ego and their narcissism. And the one thing we know about narcissists is that they are incredibly insecure.
Yeah. Most of them are, yeah.
Right.
Deeply insecure.
Right. And a lot of these people, surprisingly, are in therapy. But the whole therapy shebang is all messed up. It's not about actually getting to the bottom of anything and helping anyone and pushing back. It's all about affirmation and making them feel good in the moment. But feeling good in the moment doesn't do shit for later in long term. It doesn't actually help. And everyone is so addicted to instant gratification that it's like spoiled almost. You know, you take what you can get in the moment that makes you feel good instead of really doing the work so you can feel better for a long period of time after. But it's lazy too. It's so many things.
Yeah.
These people are all alike.
It's scary.
It is. So in conclusion, what do you have to say about this instance of this queer lady being crazy and trying to run over a cop and get herself killed?
Wow. Way to sum it up.
I was asking you for your opinion on it.
Oh, I thought you were asking
What is
them.
your conclusive opinion on it?
Don't do what she did, because it was pretty dumb to get in the way of a cop of any type.
My conclusion to this story is that people are crazy, and you can't stop them from being crazy. They have to learn it on their own. Sometimes it's the hard way, and sometimes it's the hardest way possible, which they can't learn because they're dead. But
Rip Bozo?
I think a lot of online rhetoric, mainstream media, news outlets, Reddit, all these places fan the flames of these people's
Obsessions?
yeah, their obsessions. It fans that obsessive flame, and it makes people do crazy things that you wouldn't expect to do crazy things. It's not like in an instant you can just radicalize someone. Mm-hmm. You can pretty quickly, with a lot of people, but the rhetoric's not going to be toned down. There's going to be worse things that happen. And the only thing that changes things, like the crazy stuff that's going on now, is something even worse happening. And I can't even imagine what that would be, but it's going to be something. It's going to be some sort of an uprising or attack, or I don't know. But usually things don't change unless they're forced to change. So it's kind of scary to even think about what that could be. But that's the world we're living in today. And I know that's incredibly depressing, but there are puppies. Puppies are great.
Yeah, and kitties.
Kitties are great too.
And like I said, I know I jokingly said Rip Bozo, but it really is unfortunate that there's a child out there that doesn't have their mother because she felt like this was her most important thing to do on a Wednesday.
Morning.
On a Wednesday.
So anyway, what do you guys think? You can leave it in the comments below. Like and subscribe to this channel.
I don't know if you can see it well, but I did it.
And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Cry